Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today I'll be going over the books that I want to read in fall. Now, this is a pretty hefty pile. Some may say it's unrealistic, but you know what? The good thing is that it's the books that I want to get to, not necessarily all the ones that I'm going to read. And this pile does not include any audiobooks that I listen to or books that I borrow on my Kindle from the library, so we'll see how it all goes. But I'm really excited about the selection that I have, and I can't wait to talk to you all about them. Now, I did decide to film outside, so I do apologize if there's excessive noises. It is quite a windy day outside, so I'll try to be a little louder. Then earlier today, my neighbor was mowing the lawn, and I don't know if it's still going on or not, but the first book that I really want to get to in fall is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. Now, in this book, we follow our main character, Kira, who goes on a mission to an uncolonized planet. It's a first contact with alien story, and that's pretty much all that I know about it and all that I want to know about it. I'm super excited. I'm sure a lot of people already read it and there's a lot of reviews out there, but I'm just really excited. It's his first adult sci-fi novel, so who knows how. I'm really excited to get this started and give you my thoughts. Second book that I want to read in fall, or series actually that I want to read in fall, which I already started, is the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer, and I'm currently, as of today, reading Annihilation. It follows a group of scientists, 4 women, who go into Area X, which is this part of the planet that is being, I guess, explored, and weird stuff happens in it. There's been a lot of excursions into it, and a lot of the members have either not come out or they come out and they don't really remember what's going on. I'm only a few pages in, but so far I'm really enjoying it. It's very intriguing. Jeff Vandermeer's writing is delectable. I'm just having a great time and I can't wait to finish reading this one. The truck just went by. I can't wait till I'm finished reading this book and continue on with the rest of the series. The book that I want to get to in fall, or in October and November, is called The Memory Police. This is by Yoko Ogawa, and this was the 2020 International Booker Man, the 2020 International Booker Man, the Booker Prize winner, the 2020 International Booker Prize winner. Now, this follows our main character. She is a novelist, and her editor is in danger of being taken away by what they call the Memory Police. Now, in this world, or on this little island that she lives in, items start to disappear, not just from the physical world, but also people forget about these items to the point where they no longer exist. And the Memory Police are tasked with going out and destroying these items in the physical world so that people don't remember them. The problem with her editor is that he doesn't forget, and it's really difficult for him to hide the memories of everything that he knows. So that just sounds like a super intriguing concept to me. I don't really know what else goes on in the novel other than that, but I'm super excited to get into it. And sorry guys, I did end up changing spots. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better here. I felt like there was too much noise back there. But the next book that I want to read in fall and continue my obsession with this author is Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book. Earlier this year, I read Coraline and the Lane at the End of the Ocean. The Ocean at the End of the Lane, I believe it's called. Completely fell in love with those 2 books. Now, for this one, we follow a little boy who is taken in by, I believe, some ghost in a graveyard after his family is killed. That's all I know about it. It sounds super intriguing, and it sounds like it's going to be a really, really good story. I already know that I love Neil Gaiman's writing style. It's tried and true, and his stories always take you back to your childhood and really make you think about everything that you're reading. And I love all of his allegories and the way that he tells stories and all of the messages that he's trying to invoke. So I'm really excited for this one, and I can't wait to get to it. The next book that I hope that I get to read during fall is called The Little Friend by Donna Tart. She is the author of The Goldfinch and The Secret History, which I've heard nothing but great things about. I haven't read those two yet. I did want to start with My Little Friend just because it's less of a known work by her, and I want to read her lesser known works before I get to her really popular ones. So The Little Friend follows a little girl named Harriet as she's trying to solve the murder of her brother Robin. Her brother Robin was found murdered on Mother's Day, and her killer was never caught, and she is trying to investigate who killed him. That's all I know about the story. Never read anything by Donna Tart, but from what I've heard, she's an excellent writer, so I'm really excited to get into this. The next book that I want to read in the fall is called I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Reid. Now, the only reason that I picked this up is because Kat is constantly raving about this book, and there's that new Netflix adaptation that I want to watch, but I didn't want to watch it until I read this book. So this is really high on my TBR list. I don't know anything about it other than Kat loves it and that I hope I love it too. We'll see. And maybe later on I'll make a video if I end up really liking this, comparing the book to the Netflix show to see if it was true to the book, and also to see if the movie was better than the book. Earlier this year I ended up reading Brain on Fire. I did talk about it in one of my earlier wrap-ups, but it talks about a woman who has this rare neurological disorder, and so she talks about her experience of slowly descending into insanity. Because of that, I am really excited to pick up The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, because I believe it's a similar, I don't know if this is a work of fiction or if it's true. I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked that far into it just because I do want to go in knowing the least amount that I can. But in this novel of fiction, I believe, it's a story about a woman falling into insanity. So I'm really excited to compare the two books to see what differences they have and how they overlap. And if this is a work of fiction, it'd be interesting to see how it's been in a fiction format as opposed to nonfiction, because Brain on Fire is completely nonfiction. It's a memoir of the girl who ended up being completely misdiagnosed with a psychological disorder when it was a neurological one, and she slowly started to unravel. So I'm super excited to get to this. Ooh, I'm waiting for the wind to die down. But the next two books that I want to read in fall are along the same vein. They touch on similar topics, and I'm excited to read them back to back to kind of compare them. One of them is a standalone and the other one is a trilogy, so one I feel like is going to be a little bit more fleshed out, but nonetheless I'm still really excited to get to it. The first one is Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. In this one, we are in a dystopian society where I believe a civil war broke out, and because of that we have a group called the Gilead Commanders, who basically hold the last fertile women on Earth captive and force them to reproduce just for populating, to populate the Earth basically. But in this dystopian future, there's just all these environmental disasters and birth rates are declining, and basically women have no power. Kind of scary, but especially in terms of reproductive rights and women basically being used as cattle. And anyways, so very haunting book. Similarly, I Want to Get to Native Tongue by Suzette, Haden, Elgin. Now this is actually a trilogy, and in the same manner, this follows a group of women who, after in the time of 2205, the 19th Amendment was repealed and men basically hold absolute power, and there's this group of women who are forced to reproduce. But the cool thing is that they're developing their own language, their native tongue, to communicate with each other that men can't understand, basically giving them a way to kind of plot and overthrow them. So we'll see two dystopian novels, very similar concepts. I wonder how they are going to relate to each other, or how the differences and similarities between them will shine through. Yeah. Now, in case I want to have some lighter content, because a lot of the books that I did choose some are very heavy, others are a little haunting and daunting. In case I need a little break, I also want to get to the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. She is the author of The Night Circus, which I haven't read, and I heard this is a very fantastical magic realism type of book, which I don't really read a lot of magical realism, but I heard really good things about The Night Circus. And again, I kind of want to read books from authors that are not as well known. I know The Night Circus is the epitome of Erin Morgenstern's well, I think she's only had 2 books so far, but I've heard that The Night Circus is her really popular one, so I do want to read this one first before I decide to pick up that one. The next book that I want to get to, or the next series that I want to read in the fall, is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This follows our main character Stevie, who is attending a private school in Vermont, the Ellingham Academy. When it was founded, Ellingham's wife and daughter, is it daughter? I believe, yes, they were kidnapped and they went missing, and their capture has remained a mystery that our main character Stevie wants to solve when she gets to the academy. That's all that I really know about this series. I know my partner did read it and he really enjoyed it. He says it's a very fun, engaging, cute read, and so I'm really excited. I don't read many mysteries, so I want to see if I can figure it out before I finish the series. The next book that I want to read is one where I've already seen the movie, and so I do know the twist, but I still think that it would be really good to read it, and actually it will be the first book that I read by this author, and if I enjoy her storytelling and her writing, then I will go ahead and pick up the rest of her books. But that book is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Again, I already saw the movie, I already know the plot twist. I just know that it's a very good thriller, and I know that domestic thrillers, I believe, kind of took off after this book came out, so I'm just really excited to get into it and see what the rave is all about. The next book that I'm picking up in fall is The Child Finder by Rene Denfeld. This follows the story of Madison Culver when she disappears in one of the forests in Oregon. It's kind of strange actually thinking about reading this book because I live in Oregon and I've gone out hiking in Oregon near dark when it's cold. So it's kind of scary actually. I think this is one that's going to really freak me out just because I know what it's like to be in this landscape and in the dense forests out here. But this family, the Culvers, hire a private investigator who is nicknamed the Child Finder because she's very good at investigating and solving crimes and mysteries, and so they hire her as their last hope to find their daughter. Super excited to get into this one. Again, I feel like this one's gonna hit home and I'm gonna be super freaked out because it's in Oregon, so we'll see how that goes. Yes, there's still one more book. I know this is a very long list of books and I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them, but the last one on my physical TBR that doesn't include any audiobooks or Kindle books that I may or may not read in fall is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This follows the story, like me or Alicia, depending on how you want to pronounce that, who shoots her husband in the face 5 times after he gets home, and she never talks after that. She doesn't explain why she did it. She gets convicted, and several years later, I believe it's a criminal psychotherapist. His name's Theo. He wants to find out why she committed this atrocity, and basically it's him trying to figure out the story of what happened, and that sounds super intriguing. Love this cover, super creepy, definitely giving me October Halloween vibes. Yeah, but that's it for that's basically all the books that I want to read in fall. We'll see if I get to all of them. But have you read any of the books that I mentioned? Are you excited about any of the books that I mentioned? Or what is on your TBR for fall and for October? I would love to know more, especially for more thriller, horror, and mystery recommendations, because it's a genre I'm barely dipping my feet into. Yeah, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't already, subscribe and like, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.